So today I was going to talk about an article that details how somebody is terrible at ARMS even though they did not try the moderate difficulty but are too good at level 1, and so ARMS basically forced them to not want to play anymore because it was too difficult without them trying difficulties 2 and 3. But then I realized that just adds to the broader discussion of journalists who really can't play video games but are paid to review them. Games like Cuphead, Dark Souls, and, well, games that aren't even really difficult. So there's no point in talking about that for 10 minutes. We already know that. So instead, you guys get a little treat of me having a golden mane on my head here, this beautiful hair of mine, and we got the Dragon Ball Z hoodie on. I have just finished my time at the gym, and we're going to be jumping into the news, so I hope this visage is enough to keep you hooked. Well, maybe it's just all about the news. I'll stop stroking my own ego here, and we'll go ahead and jump into the first story, which is the obscure hidden message in Bioshock resurfacing after a decade. Well, that's something, to say the least. This happens a lot. Old games get exposed for things that were hidden in them, and it takes a very long time because people don't necessarily think to do things, or the people who did do those things don't tell anyone about it on like the internet or anything. They don't take pictures. The long and the short of this story is that there's a tutorial how to do this, but there is a hidden message that says, "Bug this. If you can read this, Paul did not do his job. Love, Klein." And this was affirmed and confirmed by that individual on Twitter to be explained to be a thing that you can find, and he went on and elaborated, saying that there's tons of messages in the game itself, but to get this obscure message to appear, you do have to do some very strange things in order to see it. So again, if you're interested in doing that and trying it yourself, you can get the game, and I believe that is Bioshock 2, and you can check into it. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'll leave a link in the description below for those who want to try it out. Xbox Gamerscore model will reward elite players. This essentially goes into that they are revamping the system. As we've known, there are new it's like what they had going on with the 360, the new Xbox Live experience that had come out with the 360, and then they took that away, and now they're adding it back, and I really wish they hadn't added it back. I really wish they won't add it back, man. I do not like avatars. They just bog down the system with unnecessary looks and appearances. I don't want that, man. Hey, look at me. This is me. This is me, ladies and gentlemen. I don't need a virtual avatar on Xbox representing me. My gamer score is massive. It's almost, I think, 70,000 plus achievements score. So this is really great for me, but essentially what that means is that elite players will be able to unlock loot boxes for their avatars. I'm sure that Microsoft isn't stupid enough to include a loot box system where you're going to have to pay money for accessories for your avatars. I'm sure after the Battlefront controversy, Microsoft wouldn't be that stupid, right? So, Gameboy is coming back thanks to Hyperkin. This is an interesting modeled Game Boy. It's essentially going to be a Game Boy with an aluminum casing, so that's a little bit more stronger than the plastic one. A lot of people's older Game Boys got nicked up and knocked around. The model that they were showing off at CES is similar to the Game Boy Pocket and not the color or the original Game Boy. This is a smaller version, as you can see on the screen, which is really nice. It's going to have an LCD display through an RGB spectrum, which is a lot better than the original Game Boy Pocket. Going to be lit up, so you're going to be able to see what's going on. Going to have a USB-C port and an internal battery that is going to be able to be charged, and it's going to be having a pair of speakers also with right and left audio connections, though I think that's kind of silly because a lot of the Game Boy games didn't even put out true stereo. It was just emulated, and they finagled the system on that because most people didn't use their headphones with their Game Boy games. essentially making it pretty useless and stupid to develop a Game Boy game with stereo sound, but there it is. And from the CES pictures, I did not see stereo in it. It just looks like it has one speaker, so maybe I'm missing something there. If you guys could comment it down in the section below. If you're supposed to have right and left channels and stereo audio, but you only have one speaker, what's the point in having stereo audio if it's coming out of one speaker and that's it? That's all right. You get the point. This is going to be on sale for $100, which is really, really cool, and it's going to be coming late summer. This is not going to have any built-in games, and is just going to be able to play your Game Boy cartridges or Game Boy cartridges you get offline. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you think that that's kind of silly to do, if you think that, oh, you know, these are really old games, man. What if they don't work? What if I buy them on eBay and they don't work? This is a 17-year-old plus game, and it works. So this is the big one that has come out, big story. Twitch signed a 2-year deal with Overwatch League worth at least $90 million. Twitch signed a 2-year deal to stream Overwatch games on its website somewhat exclusively for 12 weekly matches, among many other things that they have going on as well, like Activision, Blizzard. It's, you know, they've been working with them as well quite a lot, and other esports networks like League of Legends also. They make a lot of money in ad revenue and streaming, but I think that's kind of silly to do at the same time, because in our social world nowadays, you have things like YouTube where if somebody's streaming something, you know you're going to get piracy, you know you're going to get someone trying to mirror that stream off of someone else. You have private websites, private networks, you have people who will record it and put it up a few minutes after it's finished and stuff like that, and this is just stuff that happens also. But I guess they want the exclusivity, so there you go. Esports is definitely growing, ladies and gentlemen, and they're growing on Twitch quite a bit. A small update in PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, which is going to allow you to report people, not just people who are suspected of being cheaters, but essentially anyone who you get killed by. You can report them, and they will investigate that. So that's going to be coming in here shortly, and it's supposed to be a, quote, fair play environment in PUBG, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. So that's something. If you've been getting killed by cheaters, hey, maybe you'll be able to stop them a little bit better. Pokemon Go is canceling support for older iOS devices. Congratulations, Pokemon Go. You not only have big YouTube personalities like Reversal taking a break from promoting your game and playing your game, but now you're also limiting those with older phones, iPhone 5 and 5C, those who are incapable of upgrading to iOS 11, now they can't play Pokemon Go. Boy, you're just... Are you willfully killing your game off, man? And the reason they're citing this is that they want to push the application beyond the capabilities of the operating systems of such devices. Really? Pokemon Go is such an intense application that the iPhone 5 and 5C just can't handle it, folks. It's just so intense. You see me? Do you see how much I believe this? I'm sure this is the exact statement that they're making, and I'm sure they do want to move on and use stronger hardware, but really? You already have a game that's literally died out. Like, I barely know anyone who plays it. People do play it, but now you're restricting it to newer devices. So people who don't have a lot of money, this is a free-to-play game. People who don't have a lot of money and can't really afford newer iPhones and a new phone for a couple years, you're going to exclude them? Really? Alright, there you go. And finally, I want to end on this. For the first time in 11 years, the Japanese console game market has grown. So that's just due to some fact of Nintendo once again. I guess in 11 years, the Japanese console game market hasn't grown, but that's probably due in part to a lot of people not wanting the Wii U. probably, and then that was the period where the sales for the Wii had started tapering off because everyone had already bought it, and then people didn't want to buy the Wii U. The Nintendo Switch has already eclipsed the entire Wii U sales in Japan, so of course the console market is growing. Yes, there are a lot of PS4 sales in Japan, but again, I'm just reading the news here, ladies and gentlemen. This is what they say. So for the first time in a long time, the Japanese console market has grown because of the Nintendo Switch. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Nintendo's doing good. But remember, rip Nintendo if you read the articles a few years ago. So that'll do it for this episode of What You Missed News. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, leave me a big thumbs up. If you didn't, leave me a thumbs down and some constructive criticism in the comment section below. And I'm going to be out of here. I'll see you tomorrow with another episode of What You Missed News. Hopefully there will be more captivating news stories then. But until then, I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. As always, good gaming, God bless, and thank you for watching. Now I'm off to grow the Japanese console market myself by playing some Nintendo Switch.